This is Charlie Parsons for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow. As Fabio Wardley turns his camera off on me in a minute, I do my intro. I'm going to keep that in, because it's quite
Go on,
powered
boy,
by
leave it.
Wow Hydrate and available on DAZN. We got the big dog. He's sporting the same shirt that was worn as he pumps his chest up to the weigh-in on Friday night. Um, Mate, wow, from Riyadh to Ipswich, which I assume is where you are now. How's things?
Mm. Yeah, look, it's fantastic. Fantastic. Everything's good. Everything's normal, mate. Back to normal, back to life, cracking on, doing normal stuff.
I suppose firstly, look, you've done Riyadh season before, but this week, obviously, well, I suppose last week now, another monumental fight at the top of the bill with the two of you co-main event, just everything before we talk the fight, the whole experience. How did you find it, bro?
Yeah, look, it's fantastic. It really is special out there. There is a bit of magic out there, especially for me as well, because whenever I fight out there, I always seem to feel like I had a fantastic performance or something crazy happens and goes on. There is something special about that place that brings out an extra bit in me. The lights are a bit brighter and they make me perform a bit more and they just bring a bit more out in me. So, yeah, look, I love Riyadh season. I love going out there. It's always a massive thanks to His Excellency for putting it on because he has done massive things for boxing. So I'm just glad to have my little chapter, my little bit being a part of it.
You know what's mad? You would have thought that if you were going to go and put in a devastating performance, it probably would have been at the O2 where you had all those Ipswich Town
Mm.
fans singing your name. But now you thought, don't need to worry about that too much. Went in and performed how you did. I
Mm.
suppose for you, it's just one of them things where, regardless of where you are, regardless of what the atmosphere is, it's not something you're thinking about too much. I remember you fighting on Fight Camp, putting in devastating performances.
Mm. Yeah, look, I think with the first one, I think there was an element, and I'd admit that I almost got sucked into the occasion and wanted to perform. I knew I'd brought so many fans there. I knew we ram-packed it. I knew how big it was. I knew how loud it was. It was crazy. And there was an element of me of like, right, I need to perform, like, and do something big here. And I was overdoing it. I was trying to overperform. I was really being really forceful about it, about the way I went about my work and the way I did things, and then turning. I wanted it to be a spectacle, so I turned it into that, and made it that. Whereas with obviously the rematch from Riyadh season and the fight there, I thought, you know what, let's just bring this back down to base level. Let's bring this calm, bring this relaxed, and let's get the job done. Get the job done in style, but nicely.
Babs, you say that, and I just find it mad. And I suppose I've probably got my fan head on here a little bit. How do you go from a war, a 12-round war, to just going in there? And bro, let's be real, you didn't have a huge amount of time in between fights. It was quite a quick turnaround. How do you go from one extreme to the other?
um, by watching it back and realizing it wasn't the right thing.
Okay.
That wasn't the right. Don't get me wrong, and I'll always look back on that fight with fond memories still, and look at it and think, Christ, that was like a hell of a fight. And people would always stop me and talk about it and go, "Oh, mate, that was mental that fight," and everything. And I really do appreciate all that. I love all that. That's what I'm in the game for, is to create moments and events for people to remember me for. But also, I'm here to progress my career, succeed, do better, obtain more titles. And the only way to do that is to one, be self-critical and then be adaptable and change. And I realized that upon watching back hours and hours of film and tape and clips and this and that from Ben Davison, from Lee Wiley, and going through drills and structures with them and paying attention. And we had a massive emphasis on being relaxed, being calm, because upon watching the fight back, I watched and I actually noticed a lot more. The more I watched it back, I had him hurt so many times in that fight. I just didn't pay attention to it properly in the moment. I was just getting sucked in and going rah, 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 going crazy. So once we'd gone over that, assessed that, and looked at that, I thought, right, okay, cool. So I can hurt him. That bit's ticked. We know I can do that. It's just about now the follow up and then following it up and doing it properly. And that's what Saturday night was.
Did you expect it to be quite as emphatic as it was?
Look, no, you never can plan or really expect for it to be like that. But like I always knew I had the power to just switch him out. I always knew that was there. But it just you never plan for it to be in the first round. You always, if you're a smart boxer, you always plan for worst case scenario. So you always plan for it to be in the last round or just later in the fight or however else, or really having to work for it.
Babs, I suppose obviously you interacted with my tweet that said that he'd gone off to hospital for his operation. I know since then seen another statement as such where he said he's very proud of the 13 rounds that were shared with you. And we saw all throughout the build up of it. Look, even at the press conference table, you guys got up and you shared a little handshake as such. All the spite and the venom as such came out and just wasn't there. I mean, have you spoke to him since? Have you managed to sort of
I haven't actually spoken to him. I did send him a message, and of the same sentiment, kind of he relayed really of saying, "Look, thank you for being the dance partner I needed. Thank you for those 13 rounds we shared together that were special. That you, me, boxing will never forget. They were special for so many reasons. Thank you for being the warrior that you are, and I hope you're well. I hope you're getting home okay. I hope you're surrounded by good people, people you love, your family, and you've made it home safe to them, and all is well with you. And just best wishes, like wish you all the best because I don't have any malice towards him. I have no hate in my heart towards him whatsoever. It was just healthy competition. I never want my opponent to leave the ring in a sorry state where they're not able to go immediately back to their family or anything like that. So that was never the case. It's never my intention. It's never anything I want. But ultimately, we're both in there to do a job on the night.
I remember you retweeted a tweet a couple of days to the fight, and it was a guy that said, I'm picking outside of the public opinion. I'm picking for Fabio Wardley to stop him. And it did, if I'm honest to you, you won't maybe take this in as such, but it did feel like people were maybe giving Frazer the edge because of maybe the amateur pedigree and the 12 round share. They almost thought that he was going to gain more from it as opposed to you. Did that bother you at all in the build up?
No, because I knew that the reason that was because of the mistakes made in the first fight, but they were my mistakes, which allowed him to look and be better.
Okay.
So I knew if I corrected those, then it would be null and void. It wouldn't matter. I would come through. Um, so no, I think a lot of people were going right. Fraser's been in boxing a long time. He's going to learn from that performance. He's going to put his boxing brain on. He's going to adjust. He's going to be this. He's going to be that. When realistically, it was me who went, okay, I made a mistake here, 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 here. Let's change this, and approach it like this. And I think he very similarly approached the fight in a very similar way because he felt like he got a lot of success in the first fight, which granted, like with his jab and stuff, he did. But I thought, nah, if I adjust, then we'll get the W here and we'll get it done properly.
To win the British title outright, you have to defend it 5 times. I believe you're on your fourth now. With that being said, you've also found yourself in the top 10 of the Ring magazine and highly ranked in other governing bodies. Is it a bit of a sticky one in a weird way where like part of you wants to be able to have that famous Lonsdale belt in your gaff, but at the same time you're like, right, I can really be pushing on for world titles now. I mean, how do you see it?
Yeah, it's half and half, isn't it? I don't want to cut off my nose to spite my face in the sense of like go, oh yeah, I'm sort of going to have another one at British level, and then maybe something just crazy goes south, and then I've messed my chances up of being in line for a world title, and I have to do a big old rebuild or whatever else. I think I just keep moving forward on the train that I've been moving on. I think that's the best plan of action. So yeah, me and the team will sit down, have a look, analyze the scene, see what's where. Obviously, I'm with Queensbury and Frank now, and he is a legend when it comes to directing people towards world titles. You know, he's very well in the ins and outs of how to do all that. So I'm in safe hands there. So we need to have a good chat with him about what the next course of action is and how it looks for me.
Ultimately, boxing is a business. Is it as straightforward as saying, well, the financially best opportunities will just be the ones that you take forward, or do you have that sort of other head on you where you think, I could be steered towards another fight at that level?
Um, don't get me wrong. Let's not be dumb. Financials do play into it. They are a large factor. And I just don't see a British level fight that financially would produce anything close to an international top 10, top 15 kind of fight. They're just not comparable. The only one left was Frazer for me. The big name left was Frazer, to really tick off at that point. And I've done that now and I've ticked that off. So there's nothing left for me there. I've held on to the British title for a good couple of years now. I've fought anyone and everyone who said they wanted to have a go on it. I've done my job there. I've ticked it off. I think that section of it as well is done and ticked off and closed.
Lastly, before we move, I suppose, on to the future and what lies ahead for you, there's obviously, whenever you fight, there's a little bit of talk with that thing there on your nose.
Little
That obviously
snout.
will always come up in interviews that you do and stuff like that. Uh, I could be making a bit of a presumption here, and you're welcome to tell me to shut up if I am. But am I right in saying maybe because of the lack of punishment you took and because of the quick turnaround, it gives it more time to heal, or is it healed and it just has the little mark over the nose?
No, honestly, it's. I had this. Who did I speak to? Maybe Queensbury live on their TNT or on their broadcast or however. But however, it's perfectly healed. There's
Okay.
nothing more to be done with it. That's just the way it's healed. It's just scarred over now. It's just the
A little
scarring is a different.
scarf that you can
The
cut about.
scarring is a different. The scarring's a different kind of like color pigmentation from the rest of me. That's all. And because it's at the forefront of my face as well, it looks so obvious and so like, oh my god, it's gonna burst open at any minute. Like, but no, there's and the thing is to double down on with it as well is that one, I saw a specialist plastic surgeon after the fight who internally stitched it, pulled it all together, so it was as best looked after as it could be. Had multiple follow ups with him, checked it all over. It's all great, fine, all dandy. And also my actual nose, in terms of structure, nose was never broken, never fractured. There was never any issues with me nasally breathing or anything like that at all. That was never a problem. So it is purely just a bit of skin that's cut and may cut again in the future. Maybe, maybe not.
How
Realistically, who
about relax
cares?
about it?
Yeah,
Gladiator sport, innit?
you accept the game that you're in, don't you? I'm like, it'd be weird if I thought, oh no, I don't want to get my nose cut, and when someone is literally punching me in the face, like it is what it is. So if it goes, it goes, and I've already proven that I can pound through 8, 10 rounds with a cut nose. So if I've done it once, I can do it again.
Let's talk moving forward. I caught up with Frank Warren yesterday on Zoom, who was obviously singing your praises. I said, you back this man when not many people, I say not many people did, but a lot of people were steering towards Frazer in that fight. And he said, okay, maybe not in a round, but he predicted that that would happen and now just sees the future as sky high as such. I suppose you've got the same mentality. You talk about getting together with the team and Frank, and is it just big fights out there now?
Yeah, look, it's about aligning myself in the right position to move on to conquer world titles and take on world titles because ultimately that's the overarching objective. And one, you need the right guy next to you on the left in terms of Frank Warren and Queensbury and him to kind of back your corner and put you in the right places. You need the right management team behind you as well to pick the right fights at the right time for the right people. And then once they're all done their jobs, the bell goes, you hop in the ring, and it's time for me to do my job. So as long as I keep doing that, we're well on our way.
I know you appreciate what you're doing now, and the white collar conversation will always come up. But is there a part of you that wakes up and opens Twitter and sees the Ring magazine rankings and thinks, "Fucking hell, some journey that."
No, mate, every fucking day. I promise you. When it came out yesterday, I went, "What the fuck is
Mad,
this?"
bro.
I went, "What is going on? What? Who has done what? Someone's made an error. Someone's messed up. Someone's pressed the wrong button or something and clicked the wrong name, or I don't know. It's 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 so there's two different sides to it because I do look at it with like, what the fuck eyes, like how in the hell have I got it? But also I'm like, nah, like you've done it. Like you've done the work. Like you've done the work. You've done everything that's been asked of you, every test that's been put in front of you, every obstacle you've had to overcome, everything you've had to bypass and get through and power through and grit through and bite through. You have done it all. So, yeah, you deserve to be there, but still to see it down or on paper or online or wherever written down in the list, you're a bit like, yo, what the fuck?
You are an Ipswich Town fan. Oh, I've got the blur on the camera. I was going to show you the old photo with Big Ed. There we are. Any chance
Hey,
with him?
any chance of?
The big link up with him?
Yeah, he's always at the games. He's always at the games. I've never actually met him, so you're actually one up on me. I've never actually met
Probably
him
about the
because
one
he's
thing I am,
very,
to be fair.
he's very private. He doesn't like to make, because obviously when he turns up at a game, promotion, whatever else. So he very much doesn't like to make it all about him. He's very team focused. He just literally darts for his box and watches the game with his friends and then darts home. Like he doesn't make it all about him. So I've never really bumped into him. But yeah, maybe one day. Maybe one day we'll have a conversation, we'll have a chat, and hopefully we'll sort something out.
Ed Sheeran, ex Fabio Wardley, soon come. Right, nitty gritty. Do you have any beef with anyone? Is there anyone out there now? You're in the mix in the top 15. What's mad is you've actually got a higher Ring magazine ranking than some of your governing bodies, which is just like crazy. I suppose that's
Yeah.
out at British level that happens. What's the now? Is there anyone out there that you're targeting that you're thinking you'd like to fight?
No, look, there's no names. Like I get asked it all the time, and like, who do you want to fight? Who do you want to fight? Who do you want to fight? And I'm like, mate, like whoever. Like again, it's not about who, it's about why and what you get from it and what you can gain from it and how better it leads me towards getting a world title. And that is the overall plan here, is getting in line for a world title. So if it's this guy, if it's that guy, if it's this guy, it's that guy, whoever, cool, don't worry. Who is going to put me in the best position once I beat them to be then being in line for a world title? So that is the plan. That's the objective. It has been for a very long time, so it will stay the same.
Andy Lee threw the name Kevin Lorena out after the fight. Is that something that interests you?
Yeah, I did see that, and funnily enough, Kellen Lorena, he clipped it and sent it to me, and was extremely respectful and said, "Look, bro, it'd be a great fight. I'm up for it. If you're up for it, like we can do it." Ratata, but yeah, maybe. It depends on what we want to do. It's not something I don't think public wise anyone would be too ecstatic about. No one's screaming Kevin Lorena's name from the rooftops, and that's no disrespect to him. It's just kind of the level or the placement that I've moved into seems to be a different realm of people now. So maybe though, maybe. Who knows?
Just lastly from me, Frank's got an incredible crop of domestic heavyweights. I say domestic heavyweights that are competing at a very high level that happen to be British.
Mm.
I suppose you're in good stead, right? There's so many opportunities there in the UK for O2 fights. I know that you want that Ipswich Town Stadium fight so bad. And then I suppose, look, there's always going to be opportunities for international fights, whether that be in the UK or Riyadh season. I'm sure His Excellency's a huge fan as well.
Yeah, look, I'm in an extremely fortunate position that I've got opportunities all over the place doing a variety of things. I can box in the UK. I can go back to the O2 and headline there. I can hopefully one day do Portman Road. I can. His Excellency is obviously a big fan and would be happy to have me back over at Riyadh and Riyadh season and fight over there whenever I want as well. So I could not be in a better boxing position as it stands right this second. So that's why I take everything under advisement. We Because I'm in, especially for me right now, I'm in uncharted territory. And now for me, for the past few years, it's just been like head down, beat who's in front of you, train hard, do your job, do your job, do your job. And that's been great and worked and got me to here and fantastic. But now it's like, right, okay, there needs to be more strategy here. There needs to be a bit more kind of planning going on here. We need to be a bit cuter about what we're doing here. Because we do have an overarching objective, overarching goal that we want to get to. So that's where the likes of Frank Warren and the team behind me come into it, and we have a chat, we have a sit down, we have a plan from there.
Technically, the easiest fight that could ever be made is yourself and Dillian Whyte. Am I being an absolute mug by throwing that out?
You're off your fucking head, mate. Honestly, mate, we've had enough fucking like basically fights as spars in the gym. So yeah, I think we've done that enough times.
I was expecting a little right hand from Magic through the screen when I asked that. Yeah, you're a legend. Thank you very much for your time. And I suppose just personally, I've seen the rise over the last couple of years. So congratulations to you. What's your final message to the people out there watching at home?
Thank you. Thank you for everyone's support. Thank you for everyone that keeps watching. Thank you for the haters that are now believers. Thank you for the believers that were believers from the start. The Wardley train keeps moving forward. Hold on, grab on. It's going to be a bumpy ride.